Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast. And I'd like to welcome Cody to the show today. Cody, you just want to introduce yourself and the name of your company, maybe a little bit about, how you guys operate or what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Cody Petershein with our company, Yoder Storage Sheds. My father-in-law, Clifford Yoder, he's the owner. I'm the general manager. That's us.
That's you. Well, thank you for sitting down with me today. We really appreciate this opportunity. When we're on the road, it feels nice to meet with shed folks, and it's kind of our people, shed people. So we enjoy being able to do that. I hate that we miss Cliff, but I'll tell you what, kind of cool seeing what Cliff's doing, because he's kind of reinvigorated or maybe found this, seems like this passion of his of running.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a couple months now. He's getting good at it. He's a whole lot better at running than I am. I personally don't enjoy running, but
not unless something's chasing you, right?
Yeah, I try to avoid those situations.
Well, I think it's pretty awesome. I've watched him, and he was talking about how he slimmed down a little bit and found that passion. I've sort of enjoyed going to the gym and now in my 40s trying to work on that a little bit myself. But man, he's running, what'd you say, 13 miles today?
Yeah, 13. Actually, they just completed it about an hour ago. So, him and his wife, so Naomi, his wife, they did it awesome. Together. And, they both got it done. So,
man, way to go, Cliff and Naomi, who I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting, but great job. And, I've been seeing where he's been posting things, and it's cool to find those passions. But shed seems to be another passion. I think Cliff started back in South Carolina, North Carolina, building sheds before he came out here or something like that. So Tell me a little bit about how Yoder's works, how you got started. Let's just kind of go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of a background of both Cliff and I. Obviously, Cliff's been in the shed industry for a long time. I think he was in it. He's been in it for about probably 15 years now.
Oh, wow.
So, he started, like you said, he started back in South Carolina. He was building for Graceland there. And, he built there for, I don't remember how many years he was doing that. He did then get an opportunity to manage a shed shop in Montana, which he did for a year, and then moved to Delta, Colorado, which is where I was from. And, I started working with a company, Cumberland, there. And through that, obviously, met his daughter. And, we started dating, and I was looking also for a change of jobs. And he was like, well, hey, why don't you come build sheds with me? So I came and I did that. I started that February of 2015 is when I started building sheds. And so built there for about 2 years. Cliff was there for about a year. They worked then with a company here in Canyon City, which what brought them over here was New Horizons. And so they worked there with them in the youth program. So they were house parents there. And so they did that for about 4 years. So in 2016 to 2020 is when he was doing that. In that time, I moved to Canyon here. Well, we're in Penrose, but I moved into this area in October of 2017. And I was working for another company there. I built for them, and then a sales position opened up. And I was always interested in doing something like that. Office work has always been appealing to me. Uh-huh. Everything I'd done up to that point was all, physical work, which was good. I really appreciate having that opportunity to do that, because I think it taught me a lot. And
it teaches you so much.
Yeah. Being hands-on is best way to start. And so, I did the sales for about 2.5 years with the other company that I was with. So that helped me out then when we started our own company in July of 2020. We had the idea of, well, we both know sheds. We know it very well. We enjoy it. Instead of working for somebody else, why not do our own?
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. Jeremy would be Cliff's son. He'd been building sheds for a long time. He built for since he was 14. So,
oh, wow.
So he started with us as well. So it was the three of us. So it was Cliff, Jeremy, and myself. So Jeremy did the building, I did the sales, and Cliff did the general running of things and kind of whatever needed done. So we started then, and it was just us three, and here we are in 2024.
Let's say the rest is history, as they say, right? Now all of a sudden it's turning into more and more, and there's a new building, more staff,
new building. It's crazy. Just this last winter, so we always have a big Christmas supper with everybody. It was very interesting to reflect this year, or this last Christmas, on the growth that we've seen. We started out with the three of us, and obviously we had a hauler then too, so there was, four families pretty much. And to look at it now and see there was 11 employees, there was 22 or 23 people around the table this last time. So starting out with 6-8 people, and now we had 23 sitting around the table, because we always invite their wives as well.
Yeah, sure.
Because they're supporting their husbands in the work that they do.
That's right.
So we want to include them as well. So it was very interesting to reflect on the growth that we've had, and we were very grateful. And yeah, like you mentioned with the new building, so we built a 70 by 100 shop, and we moved out of a 40 by 60 shop. So putting that into retrospect, we could fit the entire old shop in a corner of this shop. And so having that extra amount of space, so now we have 2 build bays instead of 1, and we're roofing and painting inside instead of outside. It's just greatly improved everything. We're very grateful for the growth that we've had, and to our customers who've made that possible.
Sure.
So
well, man, congrats first of all, and congrats to you guys. It's me and Cliff sort of share that, that we both started at Graceland. I started in purchasing, and I think I talked to him one time and said, I'm pretty sure I was ordering a lot of the stuff that you guys would have been using to build years ago, and we had no idea who each other were. So it's kind of funny how things like that work. And that's been maybe 12 years ago since I was in purchasing, and my time there was good. I just moved on to other and different opportunities. So appreciate that story, man. It's kind of cool to see the shed history, first of all, how things come together, connect the dots, because the shed industry is a big industry. It's nationwide, but then it's very small, isn't it? In the people.
Once you start getting to know different owners, as far as, different companies, and they may own several shops across the U.S., it does narrow it down as far as the shed industry as a whole, especially at the Shed Expo, which I'm looking forward to. You get to meet a lot of people.
Like a family reunion.
Yeah, pretty much. It's great. So.
You get to go see so many different people, and we've been saying that for years. It's like a family reunion of just a bunch of a big shed family.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So always enjoy it. Looking forward to it. I don't know if this episode will be out before then or after. It'll probably be out after. So the Shed Expo will have already come and gone by the time people are listening to us. So kind of amazing. But first of all, the most natural thing, it's a beautiful area. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous out here. So we're close to Canyon City, Royal Gorge area, south of Colorado Springs. You guys are an hour and a half out of Denver.
Yeah,
south of Denver.
2 hours. Yeah.
2 hours. And right at the base of the mountains and all that, it seems like. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. But, to my surprise, it seems like you could drive, for several miles and not see any shed companies. Way out here in the middle of this space, there's a couple other shed companies around. So you guys do have competition, but friends as well too.
Right. Yeah. All the companies that are around here, I know most of the people that own it. I would say, just to name a few, the Shed Yard, Colorado Shed Company, Dreamwood Cabins, be Dirksen now. I've met the owners of all of those companies. I haven't met the owner of Leland's. From what he sounds like, a great guy.
Yeah. We got a chance to interview Leland, and he really is and has a lot of shed history, which is pretty awesome.
Sounds like he's doing very well in the shed industry. Yeah. I love seeing what he's done.
Had a really good. I enjoyed our conversation when we got a chance to sit there in his office. It was pretty nice to speak with him at length, and it's especially exciting to be able to speak with people who have such long tenured history in the shed industry. I would be curious to know Cliff's thoughts on what it looked like 15 years ago, in his opinion, and what it looks like now.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get those sometime, but But even in your own experience, you said 2015 you started. You've got 9 years in.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the biggest things that you feel like you've seen change just in this small time? I feel like there's been a lot of change, particularly in that time. But I'm curious your thoughts. Are you a dealer who sells multiple products at your shed lot? Are you tired of sifting through clunky or overcomplicated softwares to simply sell a product? If so, it's time to call Cal. Consumer Aligned Logistics is the affordable, simplified, and scalable solution for your shed, carport, or even RTO company. We are partnered with Idea Room and Shed Pro for configurators and have multiple RTO partners to choose from JMag to Heartland to Shed Geek Rentals and Scott's RTO. And if your partner isn't listed here, just ask. We are happy to add more. Give us a call at 425-359-3279 or visit calcanhelp.com. That's CALCANHELP.com.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of change. Obviously, the styles that go out is one big thing that's changed. The shed industry, from my experience, has, it started out with basic. It was the very basic, just a what we call the utility style, just a basic regular truss, nothing fancy, not really any windows. Well, yeah, you'd have some windows, but loft barn or utility, those were the two common ones that went out. Now what I'm seeing, and we've even come up with a few new styles that, there's one specifically that we've introduced. It's a steep utility. So it's a 12 pitch roof with a 6-foot wall. It's a castle, if you will.
Yeah.
We've got one actually out here in the shop that's being built. I'm not sure if it got pulled out yesterday or not, but it's got 6-foot walls. It's got a 12 pitch roof. It's a 12 by 24.
Goodness.
From ground to peak, it sits at 13'3". It is a big building.
Now, do you have any issues like out here with, any height restrictions or stuff like that?
We do. A lot of our bridges sit around 15 to 16 feet. So in a building like that, we're going to have to pull what's called a Chapter 6 permit, 2 pilot cars, get it guided, and there's specific routing that comes with that. So, yeah, we do have that. There is a lot of regulations in Colorado when it comes to sheds, even when it comes to permitting the building itself. I know that that's been a challenge for a lot of customers because of those regulations, but, hey, it varies by state. It's the state's rules. You got to abide by them. You do what you got to do. But for the most part, it goes well.
Do you run into more like state permitting issues or like local municipality issues?
It varies by county. So,
okay.
It's not necessarily all the state. It's a lot more by county. Some counties don't care, and they're just like, hey, do what you want.
Yeah.
And then there's other counties that they want to know all the specs. They want the engineering down to the T, and then the truss engineering and the snow loads and wind ratings, which I get it. They're trying to protect people and their property. And then there's some that they just want the basics. Those are the fun ones. If they just want the basics, or even if they don't want anything at all, those are the fun ones for us. But we do have all the engineering. We have everything we need, even when we run into situations where we do need those extra things and we need to get them. We've always got those done and taken care of the customer and made sure they get what they need.
It's kind of interesting because it seems like being from where I live in Illinois, even Southern Illinois, we do see a healthy amount of restrictions. But like maybe the misnomer in my mindset is anywhere out west is kind of cowboy, right? Like anytime you go out west, it's kind of like there's freedom in every sense of the word, especially if you want to bring in a trailer, a tiny home, a shed to house conversion, whatever it is that you want to do. You're probably not going to have all of these restrictions or maybe even be modular certified, but not necessarily the case. Even in a big open area like Colorado, you do still have some rules you're going to have to abide by.
We do. And depending on the city, obviously the northern counties and northern cities are a lot more stringent. The further south you get down here, if you get down into like Walsenburg area, they still have regulations, but they're not typically as strong. But kind of back to the styles you were mentioning, the changes, single slope has been another very common seller of ours. And we've recently started doing, well, about a year and a half ago, we started offering a fully finished out building. Now, that's with power. That's not with plumbing. We don't do any of that. We don't do live-in structures, but we do like home office. So that's something that's been a really good seller for us, and the single slope has been a good pair with that. A lot of people like that. It's got LED lights in it. It's fully wired and ready to plug in, and then we hook it up with an RV plug on the outside to where you can just pop it into an RV plug and you got power to the whole thing. So
30 amp, 50 amp,
both kind of. We do a lot of 30 amp. That's pretty common. So yeah, that's been a really hot seller for us. But yeah, kind of the biggest change, which I think everybody can agree with, is price. You can no longer get a 10 by 16 utility for maybe $2,500, $3,000. You're looking at $5,000 to $6,000 depending where you're at. I know back east some of them are a little cheaper. Quality's still the same, but they're getting lumber at a little bit better price than we are here out west. Because I know further west you go, once you get up into Oregon, I know their prices are higher too, but I think they're paying a little bit more for their stuff too. So that's been a big factor that's changed a lot in the industry. Other than that, I'm trying to think what's been a big change in the industry. I think marketing and customer base has been a change too, because a lot of customers are going with, they'll buy a shell from us and then they'll finish it out and live in it, which is very, very common this year. And, everything's built to code. We're doing it all as the county requires it, so there's no issues there. A little bit more work on the customer's end because they have to do the final finish out or hire somebody, but either way, they still come out way less than buying a new house, because house prices right now are absolutely insane. And
I saw a demographic the other day that talked about that average price of a house, and I was kind of surprised to find, I think it was like Michigan or Ohio that had like the cheapest housing, like average cost.
Okay.
And maybe California the highest, which I kind of expect that. You can, from what I understand, you can pretty much get a box for $1 million. Oh yeah. And you can weed eat your yard. So it's just a totally different experience, especially for such a big state, but they have their population centers and things like that. You hit on a couple of things that are, definitely important. The single slope, and just seeing the new, the home offices felt like that got ushered in sort of with COVID. A lot of people working from home, and seeing the customers' demand for like different styles. They've kind of we was talking to someone yesterday and said, when we got into this, we didn't know we were in an industry. We were just in construction. Right. And now it's becoming sort of grown up, right? It's becoming an actual industry where, and customers are taking, recognition of that in like their demands for what they want to see in a structure.
Right. And one thing we have specialized in is customization. We don't go too crazy with it. We're not going to build somebody a shed made out of bricks. Yeah. But as long as it fits within the wood category and it's relatively inside of what we do, we try to cater to that. And I think that's helped us tremendously. Yeah. We offer a wide variety of options. And if it's something that's not on our list and the customer will ask about it, a lot of times the sales guys will come ask, hey, can we do this? I would say 9 times out of 10, it's a yes. And because, it's something that's not too difficult, we can do it. So we'll figure it out. Yeah. And it's been very helpful to us to be able to cater to our customers. Because we've had customers that, they came to us, they'd been to other companies and those companies didn't offer what we were offering. They came to us and we're like, yeah, we can do that for you. We have a specific customer that's actually local right here in Canyon City. I think we have a video. I don't think it's on our website. It's on our YouTube channel, Yoder Storage Sheds. She took a single slope and we did some double glass doors in the front of it. What size was that window on the end? I think it was like a 3x5 or a 3x3, something like that. And she converted it into a backyard bar. It's actually called the Bronze Mantis. That's an interesting story. Wow. So, we built the building for them. she got it out there. She did the full finish out. So the reason it's named the bronze mantis is they were finishing out the inside, and there was this bronze praying mantis that was living around the area, and they kept seeing it. Well, it somehow it ended up getting into the drywall mixture, and when they spread on the drywall mixture, all of a sudden there it was, plastered on the side of the wall in the plaster, and you can see it in the building, and there's the outline of it. And so
that's
they
interesting.
They named it the bronze mantis, and then she got one of those not LED. What are those lights that you can get?
I would call them LED if I'm just picturing what you're
it's
saying.
a little round glass. It's I can't think of what it's called. It's one of those cool lights that you can get, and it's she put that in there. It's lit up. It says the bronze mantis. So
what a funny story, because it probably didn't have a name.
No, it didn't.
And that came together.
Yeah,
so.
She's got a fully functioning bar inside of there. She's got a little mini fridge in there for all of her stuff. She's got the shelves, the bar area, chairs that pull up to it. Yeah. So that's one of the fun stories of one of our customers.
And being able to be flexible and customizable sort of closed that, it sounds like, that deal
it
for
did.
you. So, like, there's a testimony for, if you're not just mass producing as a large company and trying to get, quantity out, but rather focused on quality and being flexible for the customer, there's an example of how to win.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Are you ready to elevate your shed business to new heights? Your pathway to success just got a whole lot smoother with ShedSuite's innovative marketing platform. At ShedSuite, we like to think we understand the shed industry at least a little bit. And over the last 7 years, we've been building awesome software for shed businesses. We focus first on building easy-to-use software to help you create and track orders, like the point of sale and after the sale order fulfillment. And now we're excited to announce our full-feature CRM, all things pre-sale, like prospecting and follow-up, all to empower your shed company to market better and sell more efficiently. Our platform empowers you with a marketing toolkit designed to amplify your online presence, engage your audience, and drive sales like never before. Enjoy the ease of conversion tracking, email marketing, centralized lead communication, and so much more. Oh, and guess what? It even comes with an iPhone and an Android app. With ShedSuite's marketing platform, crafting and deploying effective marketing campaigns is a breeze. The advanced reporting functionality allows your team to analyze real-time conversion data so you can make informed decisions and watch your business flourish. There's no better time than now to join the community of shed business owners who are scaling up with ShedSuite. It's time to turn your marketing efforts into real trackable results. Visit shedsuite.com/marketing to get pricing, explore the features, and book a demo. ShedSuite is committed to building top quality software to empower your shed business to thrive.
Yep, absolutely. And that's just the one of many that we have closed due to our customization. I mean, we did one, actually, I take that back. We've done several where a customer was using it for a living, and they wanted a good view of the mountains because where they were had great view on the property, and they wanted to be able to see that from inside the structure. So they got 11 3x5 windows in one building.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of window.
It is. It's all window.
Oh, yeah. And all throughout the structure. Some of them were like 3 or 4 right in a row. But what it does, it lets in a lot of natural light, and it satisfies that customer's need for being able to see their views. And so catering to that, we won that deal. That was one of the factors of closing that one. So
it's just maintaining some flexibility allows you to do so much. What are some of your favorite experiences so far in the shed industry? Has it been your building side whenever you gotten started, or has it been since you've transitioned into the office side? We kind of talked about that before on air, going from the building to getting into office work. Probably one of the hardest things is sometimes you don't know when your work's done, right? With a shed, you finish it, you look at it and you say, oh, look at what we've created. But with office work, sometimes it's maybe like, I don't know, did I do anything today? I know I worked, but I can't see any results of anything being finished. So
you're very much right there. Especially, on the managing side, there's so many small things. And one thing that's helped me is I have a little task list that I fill in for the day that this is what I want to accomplish today. As I accomplish them, I mark it complete, and it works really well. This isn't an advertisement for Asana, but that's what it's. That's the app. They're not paying me to say that, but Asana.
Wink, wink. Right.
Yeah, right. That one, it's a free app, and I can go in there and I can create a to-do list. I can create a couple different lists, and then I can mark it as doing and done. It's been very helpful for me not to forget a task, because it can be easy for me in the mix of the entire day to forget a task that needs done, and forget about it and move on 2 days later, and all of a sudden I remember, I was supposed to do that. And so having a task list and knowing exactly what I need to do today and check stuff off sure helps me out and makes me feel better when I can complete my list for the day. I know I actually did something.
Great word.
Yeah, so
I've got this saying, I picked it up somewhere along the way. It's not mine. Mental notes are dangerous.
Mental
notes are dangerous. I'll remember that. I'll do that. If you don't write it down, check it off. I like that level of organization. I feel like that's missing sometimes in the shed industry. Some of the things I see, we wing it a lot. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get it, but easy to forget, easy to drop task. And then there's also this process of being able to get organized and find that development and create systems and processes too. That takes a while,
right.
And all the while you're sort of flailing in the water, and you're like, hey, I'm going to swim one day. Just give me a little bit of time.
Yeah,
I'm getting there. So.
Yeah. But kind of back to one of your questions about what's been the most fun. The building is a lot of fun. I would say I've enjoyed all aspects of it. One of the new things that I'm stepping into right now is deliveries. So we're bringing our deliveries in-house, and we had been subbing that out, but we decided to bring that in-house. We'd been wanting to do that for a while. It's just the time finally came to do so. So I am doing the hauling right now until November. I've got a guy that I talked to. He's out of state right now, but he'll probably be coming on with us in November. He's got his CDL Class A, which I just got mine. And so that's been a learning experience. It's been a lot of fun, learning to do the hauling. So kind of interesting. I was thinking about this the other day, me doing the hauling now, which I just did I did 4 deliveries now. Just this week, I got my first 4. So
okay, congrats.
that was fun. Yeah. So doing that has now put me in every single aspect of the shed industry. I've built sheds, I've built doors and trusses, I've painted, I've roofed, I've worked in the office, I've done sales, and now I've done general management, which I still am, and now I've done deliveries. So now I'm in all the aspects of it. And if you want to throw marketing in there, I kind of manage our Facebook marketing too. So
a jack of all trades. You've got a lot going.
Yeah. Now they do say a jack of all trades is a master of none. So I don't know that I've necessarily mastered every single one of them.
That's okay.
But, I do my best at the positions I'm in. I try to do my best at. So
sounds like you're doing great. You say hauling has kind of piqued your interest as maybe an early favorite, or as any one of those that you've done particularly stood out for you or been personally fulfilling?
I would say the office work has probably been, I've really enjoyed that. Because I like numbers now, and seeing numbers work. So when you can break down, especially like on the very back side of it, when you're trying to work your pricing and see where you need to be, when you can start plugging in numbers and start looking at percentages, that's a lot of fun for me. I've always enjoyed that. And then seeing those numbers work, you actually put them into the physical workplace and you're like, oh yeah, that actually looks good. That works. So that's been a lot of fun. I know that hauling is definitely a challenge. It's an enjoyable challenge, though. You get into so many different aspects of it, like one I just did Thursday. Guy had really deep gravel. It's an 8x8, and for all you shed haulers out there, I'm sure that you know that an 8x8 is very difficult with a Mule 5 and wheels. It's just not really safe or possible. So I tried it with that, and then I was like, well, it's going to be safer for the building to, it's going to be safer for me to just drag it, strap onto it and drag it. I said, it is going to make ruts in your gravel. He's like, well, if it's going to be safer for the building, the customer said this, let's just do that. So I did that, was able to work it into place right down to the inch that he wanted. He had a tape measure back there, and he was, can we move this corner an inch this way? Yeah. So moved it into place, and then the gentleman he was an older gentleman, and he had just had shoulder surgery. I was like, well, hey, let me rake this for you. I know I don't, I made this mess, and so let me grab a rake and I'll do this for you. So I straightened all his gravel back out, and he was real happy. He left his 5-star review the next day. So,
that's excellent.
there's reward in all of it. I know that
right.
sometimes it's not always the most fun when you get into a challenging situation, but the end reward of it for the customer, for yourself, feeling good about what you're doing, that's enjoyable. I love working with customers, and that's one reason I really enjoyed the sales too. Talking to people is something that I really enjoy. Just being able to connect with them on their level. What makes them excited? What brings them joy in life? What are their needs?
Yes.
We just sold a shed not too long ago. Guys got it for a golf simulator. It was a single slope.
I've been hearing about these. Like, go ahead. I'm interested in these things. They look really awesome.
Oh yeah. So he put a golf simulator inside this shed. Finding those interests and what makes the customer happy. So we were able to get that one in there. I think we built that one as an on-site because we couldn't get it in there. But yeah, that customer was really happy with his building. The things we see people use it for is interesting. Anything from a bar to a golf simulator to just a shack up in the mountains to go spend a weekend at, and then of course somebody's backyard home office. There's so many different facets of what the shed industry has moved into and the uses for a shed.
Yes,
that's another big change that has come about is what are people using the shed for, and love hearing people's stories about what they're using it for.
It's amazing, honestly, because typically we're in this, the storage industry.
Yeah.
So we're storing, excess and surplus stuff and trying to keep something maybe safe, something mechanical like a mower or a motorcycle, keep it out of the weather, out of the elements. But it's kind of amazing what it's evolved into in other areas of what you can do, where we can sort of infiltrate a space that wasn't necessarily available to us at one point.
Right.
Because they just see us as an outbuilding or a storage shed or something. But now they do see the ability and customization and things like that and say, wait a minute, that could really work for me. Whether it be an office and what's great is they can get those delivered.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it put this way. I know Jim from JMAG, he said this. He's like, you can get your shed delivered to your house just as easy as ordering a pizza. And he's not wrong.
I've heard him say that before.
Yeah.
I've heard him say, a lot of people don't realize it's like, you can get this delivered like a pizza. We would actually, I've sat with him at dinner a few times and we would ask that question.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, if you got a storage shed today, where would you, we're looking for somewhere to put our storage. Where would you go and find one? And not to our surprise, it seems like 9 times out of 10, somebody says I don't know, Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, man, we still haven't even really peaked as the shed manufacturer or the shed supplier yet to really infiltrate that space in the consumer's mind, it seems like. And we hear about oversaturation, and I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I just know that right now Home Depot and Lowe's still gets it. And I'm not bashing Home Depot and Lowe's and their sheds or anything that they offer. I'm just kind of amazed that they have conquered that space in the mind of the consumer versus, all the shed manufacturers out here.
Right. Very similar experience to that. One time, Jim, he was out here. He was right here in Canyon City. So we went to Chili's for lunch. And he did ask that question to the server. She came up and he was like, hey, what are those things you put in your backyard, put in like lawn tools or, stuff like that? She's like, shed? He's like, yeah, that. Where could I go around here to get one?
She said Yoder's, didn't she?
She sadly did not.
Oh, I was serving you up there, Cody. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I thought you was going to tell me. And she said Yoder's, man, and the sun came out and the flowers grew, and I'm sorry.
No, not quite the experience, but it would be nice one day. We'll get there.
One day. Yeah.
But she was like, well, I don't really know. She's like, maybe Home Depot. And it is interesting because at that time, there was 3 of us right down here in Penrose.
Wow.
So there was Colorado Shed Company, there's the Shed Yard, and then there's us, Yoder Storage Sheds. And it's interesting that somebody that's right there in the city, they don't even know about any of us. We are literally 5 minutes out of town. And so, I know a lot of people talk about oversaturation. It's not necessarily so. Advertising is a big one for shed companies, I mean, we have to get our name out there.
Yeah.
Operating by word of mouth is no longer the driving factor in the shed industry. You got to push your name out there. And until your local people, that restaurant workers, food service industry, all of them, until you're in that market to where those people will name you off, you're not there yet.
Here at Identigrow, we have been providing custom nameplates for the shed and furniture industry for over 20 years. We are so pleased to know that shed manufacturers see the value in expressing their shed brand to potential customers using an Identigrow nameplate. When you add an attractive decal to your product, you will more than pay for the cost with increased sales. Clients will not only be able to identify the shed brand, but it will help to brand and advertise to potential customers who can easily see the nameplate, and in many cases, find a phone number or website to shop for themselves. At Identigrow, we are happy to continue to serve and invite you to visit our website at identigrow.com or give us a call at 540-283-9193. You can even fax us at 540-283-9194 or visit our website by clicking on the Shed Geek newsletter and then simply fill out some basic information for a free catalog or free samples. Thank you, Shed Industry, for allowing us to serve you in identifying your sheds. Identigrow. Identify your products. Grow your business. Good point, and I couldn't agree with you more or be happier with the conversation because of the work we do in the digital storefront, and trying to create digital storefronts and brands, because that's a hard thing. When you think about the marketplace, some companies have done that naturally.
Yeah.
Right. Like some companies have done that, like Kleenex. I like to use that as a perfect example because most people still call a tissue a Kleenex when it's really the Kleenex is the brand. Or a Coke. We went and caught a Braves and Rockies game last night while we were in town. Awesome. So yeah, it was awesome to be able to see. I'm a big baseball guy, so that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
But I took a picture of something because I use this quite often. Is like they were showing pictures of Coke all over the place. They were like displaying Coca-Cola advertisement everywhere. And I was like, who doesn't know what a Coca-Cola is, right? Like everybody knows, but they still advertise.
Yeah.
One of the largest company and probably the most branded company in the history in terms of advertising. And like they still advertise. And for what purpose? Because you don't know a Coke exists? That's not so much that as much as it is staying top of mind.
Yeah. Well, it's that correlation. So red and black. I mean, that's what. Now, I guess you could take that Milwaukee and construction world. I think Milwaukee had something going when they went with red and black. Because if you look at Coca-Cola, is it red and black or red and white?
Red and white. But then you do see like with the Coke Zero, like you see
So red and white. It catches your attention.
It does.
When you're walking through a gas station, when you're walking through like Walmart, when you walk down that aisle, what's the first thing you notice?
You see that
big
bright
red and white. You know exactly what it is. You can glance at it, get it in your peripheral vision. You know what it is.
It's in your subconscious.
It is. It's so ingrained that when you think, well, I want to go get a pop. Well, what are most people going to go with? They're going to go with what's in the back of their mind, what they're always seeing. Well, Coke, and I know there's Pepsi products, there's that too, and then there's Coke products. But I would say those two companies, Pepsi and Coke, have done phenomenal at putting their brand in front of everybody. And I think until us as the shed industry, because Tough Shed has done that, they have mastered the marketing, and I think they had something going when they paired with Home Depot. They didn't do that by accident. And that is why when somebody thinks sheds, they think Home Depot, because they're at almost every Home Depot you see, Tough Shed is there. And they have done, I think, what the rest of us wish we could do. And because they've become the Walmart of the shed industry. I think I said that right. But like when somebody thinks sheds, they think Tough Shed. Countless times I hear from customers, I need to get a Tough Shed. every once in a while I'll tell people, well, we don't sell Tough Shed, we sell Yoder storage sheds.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, and they're like, wait a minute, is that a Tough Shed brand? Is that a they're trying to figure that out. And we've actually had that experience.
Okay.
Cook was a big name in Southern Illinois growing up. And like, so when we were selling for Irvin Stutzman, we were selling Summit portable buildings, and somebody walks in and says, how much are your Cook sheds? And we was like, oh, same thing like you said, like, is there Summit, portable buildings? And it'd be like, I never heard of a Summit Cook shed.
Right.
And you're just like, wait a minute. No, you're trying to back them down, and you're like, wait a minute. And then you're like, wait a minute, I'm trying to sell to this guy. Let's just get past this. And
yeah. At that point, you just let it go, and you're like, all right, well, yeah, what size are you looking for?
Yeah.
So yeah, Tough Shed has definitely done it right, and they have put themselves as the go-to. Everybody knows about them. Even your people that would live in inner city that aren't necessarily even looking for a shed, they understand that that's where it's at. So, they're at a good place to
and what a good name,
right?
Like nobody wants to see like mediocre shed.
Yeah, weak shed, blow over shed.
Yeah, the name Tough Shed, it just rings a bell, and it's simple, it's easy, easily understood, and has the that potential, if not already, to be a national brand.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they had a good thing going, but our goal here at Yoder Storage Sheds is to make our brand the go-to for our local area. Yeah. And I say local, right now I'm considering Colorado as our local area.
I was curious. I wanted to ask you, like, from a service area, the roads are so long and wide out here, like, and cities so far in between. It's not like in New England or down, in South Carolina, North Carolina, or something where the population's growing. I was curious at, like, the entire state of Colorado. Do you guys get into New Mexico, or? We
do. I've got, I don't know if you've seen the little 4 brown buildings that are sitting out here, all identical.
I didn't. Not yet, anyway.
Okay. Yeah, on your way out, you can't miss them. They're just right there at the entrance. There's 4 brown, and I'm not sure what the trim color is. I think it's another shade of brown. But those 4 go to New Mexico. Interesting thing about that customer, he's already purchased 4 of similar size.
Oh, man.
So
wow.
Looking for 8 buildings. So those are going to New Mexico. We've taken some other buildings to New Mexico. I think we took a 16 by 44 or a 16 by 48 to New Mexico a couple weeks ago. That is one popular area for us, which I love seeing that we're getting into that. I want to see us hit Kansas and Wyoming a little bit better. We have yet to place a shed there. It's a little bit hard to get there just because, distance and mileage fees come into play at those distances. So a lot of people are thinking, well, that delivery is a couple $100. Maybe I should shop locally. But then again, we've had other people who they don't necessarily care. Like we had a gentleman buy from us. This was way back when we started. I still remember it as a 10 by 16 utility, 6-foot double doors on the front, red siding, white trim, white roof. We took it up to the top of Grand Mesa, which is over on the other side of Colorado, I can see the Grand Mesa from where I used to live in Delta, and it got taken to the top of there. Well, this customer lives in Aurora, which is up by Denver. The thing is, the company I used to work for in Delta is the closest company to the Grand Mesa, which they're at the base of the Grand Mesa.
Okay.
But that guy, and through our advertising on Google, he found us, and I let him know the delivery. I didn't let him know, hey, you know what, there's another company just right there. I'd advise you go with them. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll throw him a price. If he's willing to pay the price, we'll make him happy.
Yeah.
And so, he was happy with the price. I think delivery ended up being like $600. And so we took it over there, took it up, placed it, set it. And then interesting story. So the gentleman that runs what used to be Cumberland is now Dirksen, but Daniel Plank, he's over there in Delta. He likes to snowmobile up on the Grand Mesa. So he's riding around up there that winter, and he finds this shed. Now there's about 5 feet of snow all the way up around this building and 5 feet of snow on top of the roof.
Wow.
But it was kind of interesting. He took a picture of it and he sent it to Cliff and myself. And it's kind of interesting how, you got companies that are right there. You got companies that can serve you, but proper advertising, proper communication with the customer will still win the deal no matter where you are. It's the same reason that who's that? They produce cabins out of Zook's Cabins out of Pennsylvania. They're shipping buildings here to Colorado frequently, as well as further, into Utah. So, and I'm pretty sure there's companies that do similar products right here locally or in someone's local area. But customers are still going to Zook's Cabins out of Pennsylvania and paying the delivery fee to bring it all the way out here. So yeah,
They've built the value in the customer's mind.
Yeah. They're a trusted brand. So developing that trust is the most important thing. And so and that's what we're trying to do. The fun thing about what we have done here in Colorado is there's a couple locations throughout the state where we sold one guy a building. His neighbor saw it. He's like, "Hey, where'd you get that shed?" The guy told him. He's like, "Man, I had a great experience. All right, I'm going to buy one." So they call us up. And then it happens 2 or 3 more times with several of their customers. So we have throughout Colorado a couple different places where we have little communities of buildings, especially in the San Luis Valley, and in Hartselle. We've got 6, 7 sheds right in one little area. So I love doing that because what that does is that builds us a rapport and us taking care of every single one of those customers every time, and making sure that everybody had a good experience. That's only going to keep us winning in that area. And so we've got another one in Pitkin, which is over there close to Gunnison. So that's about a 150 to 175 mile run. But we've got 4 sheds in one little area, literally all on the same street. They're decent size, And one nice thing is we have developed, I say we, our sales guys are the credit to this. So, Dave Bontrager and Dwayne Schwartz are our 2 sales guys, phenomenal guys. They sell very well. And I give a lot of the credit to them because they're the face of the company, building the trust with our customers. And we've had a lot of customers buy multiple buildings. Well, as you can see with the 4, now 8. The guy bought 4 right up front. And then he bought 4 more. We got another customer that bought one, and he was like, "If this one goes well, I'm going to come back and I'm going to buy 4 more, all identical." And he did. I was about to
say, normally those customers, you're like, is he? Let's get through the first one.
Yeah. So we didn't even deliver the first one yet, and I thought he was going to wait until delivery and get that set, but he had a good enough experience before that one even showed up that he came back and he got the other 4. So, very thankful to our sales guys for being the face of the company, building that representation of who we are. And,
what is that message? Like if you wanted to give that message to your customer, if they happened upon this video or you shared it on your social or whatever it would look like, what is your message to the potential customer of what Yoder's is?
Absolutely. So
this is James Price of Shed Pro on Faith in Business. We've heard that suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, character produces hope. One of the greatest examples of this that I've seen is the story of Ernest Shackleton. In 1914, his team and men set out to cross the Antarctica. The ship got stuck in the ice for over 10 months. In complete darkness, there was no daylight. Eventually, the ship was crushed by the pressure of the ice, and it forced the captain and crew to live on the ice for over 5 months. But then the ice began to thaw, and with that, it started to break up, forcing the team again to get into the 3 small lifeboats. From there, they traveled for 5 days and found a small rock island. They couldn't live there, they couldn't survive there, so they decided to send 5 guys in one of the lifeboats. From there, those guys had to travel 800 miles by a lifeboat, 16 days in the most dangerous ocean. They came to another island. They knew on the other side was the port city that they could find rescue. But what stood between them was a mountain that no one had ever crossed, no one had ever climbed before, and they had no real climbing gear. Eventually they made it. They reached the port city, and from there they kept enduring. They found a boat and traveled back 4 months to save the rest of the crew. In total, it took over 2 years, but not one man died. Ernest Shackleton's story shows us a great example of how suffering was producing endurance, and endurance produced character, and that character produced hope in the crew. We're given that opportunity in our businesses, that we produce hope in those around us. This is James Price. Thanks for listening.
Well, who are we at Yoder Storage Sheds? We're a family-owned and operated business. We strive to give the best customer service in the entire industry. That is our goal. We want every single one of our customers to have the best experience that they've ever had buying anything. And, honoring our word and dedicating ourselves to a high-quality product and being loyal to our customers. Yeah. If the customer was not satisfied, we want to find out why, and then we want to resolve that and repair whatever was wrong and bring their level of respect of us as a company, and knowing that when we say something, we're going to keep our word and we're going to do it, and we're going to leave them feeling satisfied, more than satisfied with their building, and dedicating ourselves to the highest quality product possible.
Man, we've interviewed a lot of people, and it's one of my favorite answers, Cody. I think you're very complete in your statement for what you feel about your customer, and I feel like that just comes across as genuine, and I think that and what you were saying earlier about building trust, it's something that we've been trying to build in the industry for a long time, because people do buy from people that they trust. Right. They feel secure, they feel safe, because there's so many negative experiences in sales transactions in so many different products of our own life as a consumer, not just as a salesperson or a manager of our organization, but like we gauge our own selves by our experiences. Yeah. So we look at like what we're doing and putting out there as an example when we become the consumer and purchase. And I won't say perfected. That's probably not the right word, but I got better at sales. I get better at podcasting, anything, whatever it is, based off of what I'm seeing in others and my experiences with others. Yeah. So that to me, when you become a consumer, it drives really something in you to want to be like, hey, I don't want my customer to experience this. Right. I don't want them to feel like I feel right now in a negative experience. So, man, believe it or not, 46 minutes goes by so quick.
It really does. Yeah.
I try to tell people that all the time. It's kind of amazing at how fast it goes. Just love what you guys are doing. Enjoy getting to like follow along and watch you guys' progress as you continue to expand here in Colorado. Certainly thankful that you would sit down and have a conversation with me. Anything else that you want to share before I go to this and you can be thinking on this maybe while you give an answer, but I've been doing this for a while and it's been fun, is letting you turn around and ask some questions where I've been grilling you this whole time of me, whether it's shed related, podcast related, marketing or whatever, just in full transparency. Happy to answer in the best way I know how. But before that, is there just anything else that you want to carry on, or any shout outs or anything that you want to do, or to your customers, or anything like that? Anything else that you want to say on behalf of Yoders before we do that?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I've gave a shout out to several of our people, our sales guys, Dave and Dwayne. I also want to give a shout out to our production team, because we couldn't do what we do without them. Jamie Lapp, Landon Stolzfus, Glenn Yoder, which is actually Cliff's brother, and then Vince Miller. He does our painting and roofing. So, and then our on-site crew, Marlon Yoder, his brother Junior, and I think they have another guy working for them. And so yeah, they do good work. They keep us rolling. They make happen what we need to make happen. We can put all the words together in the office and all the stuff here, but in the end, the product that they put out is what's satisfying the customer. So. Yeah, forever grateful to our production team and what they do, because they're producing the end product that the customer is going to see and look at every day. Yeah. And if that's done right, that customer can be thankful every day that they look at that shed and think, I'd made the right choice. I got exactly what I wanted, and it's perfect. So, man, yeah,
great word.
They're the guys they're one of the main cogs of the machine.
Yeah.
Every aspect has its need. You think of a business as a machine. You can't do one without the other.
That's right.
You can have the best sales team in the world, but if the production team isn't what they need to be, the company's not going to do well, and vice versa. And then, management, that's another big one. But yeah, I think the biggest driver of the industry is the production team. So making sure that they're taken care of and getting what they need, and making sure they're happy when they come to work. You know, creating a culture, that's another big thing about Yoder's, is we try to provide a work culture within the shop and the office together that everybody has fun. Everybody loves coming to work, and everybody loves seeing each other, because good relationships, and that's one thing I've learned this year, is relationships is probably one of the most important things, personally and in business. Relationships with customers, number one, but also I think the main part of that is also relationships with your people. You know, the team that operates the business it's a team. You know, the sales team, the build team, the management, the hauling, all of that working together cohesively that's what's going to make or break a business. And done correctly, it'll be a very high functioning business.
And I love that you said fun. You know, it seems like it's all work all the time, and you know, people love fun. You know, we like to think that we're selling fun a little bit here with the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it doesn't have to be all business. It can be enjoyable. Obviously, normally I put on my little bow tie and suspenders, and even poke fun at myself a little bit for being a shed geek, but when it's all said and done, I think life doesn't have to be so serious. I think the Lord gives us a sense of humor. I think it's okay to laugh and joke and cut up and create that good culture where people just really want to come to work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, one of the comments that was made by one of our sales guys, he told me the other day, he's like, I love coming to work.
Yeah.
It's like I wake up in the morning and I am excited to come and do my work and make the phone calls. And
it's one of the best testimonies you can honestly get.
It is. And honestly, it moved me when I heard that. I was like, that is awesome. That is what I want. Yes. I want all of our guys to feel that way, not because I want them to feel that way. I want them to feel that way.
That's right.
I think everybody.
Yeah, you want it to be genuine, not just that you want it, but you want them to actually feel that. Man,
that's what I want.
I feel that statement so hard right now. Like that makes so much sense to me, because you can want it, but you can't make them want it, right? Like you got to figure out what are those things that you just said a mouthful there that I'm going to be chewing on. I feel like all day, because I mean that's where I'm at. I'm 43 now myself, and I'm like, gosh, I never saw myself doing this. I'm driving out here, I'm looking at the mountains, and I'm like, never would have had this opportunity, you know. And we had to create this on our own, you know. And it was like, man, the Lord is faithful, right?
Absolutely.
Like he's, you know what I mean? Like we put our nose to the grindstone, and it's just been excellent. I don't think I've had a career or a job or anything in any way, shape, or form that I could be as happy as like what I'm doing now. And you're always like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it's like, oh no, you know what I mean? Where's it coming from? I hope it doesn't go away. Yeah. But it's really been just so like I can echo the sentiments and the testimony of your guy there. It's nice to like really truly enjoy it. Absolutely. And I love it that you guys have created that culture. Congratulations to you guys.
Well, thank you. Yeah, one thing that's we try to drive that. I mean, these are just the small things, and obviously it goes way deeper than this. But some of the face value things that we do, you know, we always bring in donuts every Monday morning. So any of you shed guys that are
a man after my own heart.
Oh yeah, donuts are the way to go. So any shed people coming through Penrose, Colorado on Monday morning, stop in. We'll have some donuts for you.
Oh, man, I wish I was here on a Monday.
Well, hey, you know, hang out a little bit. And then on Friday, we take everybody out to lunch. So
that's great.
Shop takes care of that. We take all the shop guys, office guys. We all go out to lunch and do that together. And it's something that everybody can look forward to on a Friday, you know.
For sure. Take notes, shed industry. Take notes today.
I know there's a lot of companies that do that as a culture, and I tell you, it's for those of you that don't, I'm not bashing you at all, but try it. Try it once. See how much it builds you guys. It's been a lot of fun for us.
Start eating those donuts every Monday and lunch every Friday with the crew. You're going to start running like Cliff did, huh?
Yeah, but you know what? the end result of relationships is
it's so much better.
Fun. Oh yeah, because the camaraderie that we can build with everybody, especially when we're all sitting around the table at a restaurant, we're all having a good time, we're all having fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's I wouldn't trade that for anything. The relationships that we can all have together, because we can all go do it together, and it's not work related. It's I think one time we took everybody to Topgolf. We hit a goal.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we took everybody to Topgolf. That was, we all had a blast. So I remember J-Mag did that for all the dealers. That was a blast. And then
Who wouldn't enjoy Topgolf, right?
Right.
Like just going and hanging out with people and things like that. Yeah, dude, those are just things that you have to do. Because nobody wants to wake up every day disappointed or frustrated or hiding or holding on to something that they're not transparent with management. And it's like you said, you want them to have that genuine testimony of like, man, I really enjoy getting up and coming to work, because there's just so much mundane in the world today that like, we need to be able to be honest with each other and have those conversations. And, man, like I said, I take notes for those who aren't doing it. I agree with you. No bashing here, just saying try it. You might be surprised at what you'll find. Cody, any questions you'd have for me? Just if you don't, it's no problem, no pressure. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I sat and grill you for an hour long, and I feel like I should just return the favor and at least answer one or two questions if you have any.
Gotcha. I can't really think any off the top of my head. I guess one question I could ask, what's been your favorite experience here in Colorado so far?
Ooh. Hey, listeners, we all know how important a strong reputation is in today's market. You can't just rely on word of mouth anymore. Did you know that 96% of consumers check out online Google reviews before making a purchase? The companies with the highest ratings, most reviews, and frequent testimonials are the ones winning more business. That's where Liftify comes in. They've developed an innovative solution that automates the process of getting your customers to leave Google reviews. For companies like True Point Backyard Builders and Newhouse Outdoors, they've quadrupled the number of reviews and generated more web traffic, leads, and true net new jobs, all by improving their online reputation. Want to boost your online reputation? Give them a call at 463-217-0032 or visit liftify.com to learn more. Mention the Shed Geek for a special offer. Well, I feel like we're getting ready to have a couple of those great experiences, but I have to go at the Rockies game last night just because I'm such a baseball fan.
Oh, yeah.
Now I've kind of dipped my toes out of it the last couple of years. I'm not trying to be a fair weather, fan. Cardinals haven't been producing quite like we expect. We're not a 500 ball club team. We like winners over in the Cardinal organization. So we're just used to championships and wins and things like that. But I've been busy. But being able to go, I remember the expansion teams coming in the 90s when the Diamondbacks and the Rockies came in. And I was even telling stories with my family last night about like seeing the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks and how that changed and the Expos went away and things like that. So to be able to, we would like to be able to visit as many baseball parks as we can.
Yeah.
Theoretically, I'd love to see the Cardinals play their team at their place because Cardinals are my team. But definitely loved watching the game. The Rockies did pull out a 6-5 win over the Atlanta Braves, which is surprising considering how strong Braves team they have. But they're riddled with injuries. But we're going to go see the Gorge today. Awesome. We're staying down near Durango. We're going to be in Telluride, go over and see Moab, go down to the Four Corners. So we'll spend a week down here. And hopefully I can get maybe some more interviews, but also some really cool experiences. And thankful that the Lord would continue to bless our opportunity to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome.
Rockies game is my short answer.
There you go. Yeah. Well, interesting fact, I'm a Cardinals fan too.
All wise people are, Cody.
Yeah, they
and
are.
I knew you were a wise guy. So.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Illinois. I don't know if you knew that.
No way, really.
Born in Springfield, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
My family lived in Mount Vernon for a number of
Get
years.
out of here. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. When I was visiting with Jim last...
Oh, he's right there. He's close.
Yeah, it was an hour away. I actually drove up there, and I got to meet some people that our family knew, talk with them. He's got a meat processing plant. Actually, the deer, which you can't see, is up on the wall. I'm going to give a shout-out to Jim, say thank you on the live air for that experience in that deer.
That nice deer. Well, we've got some good deer in Southern Illinois.
Oh, yeah. So actually, we took the deer up to Mount Vernon, Blueford. A friend that we knew that's there. He's got a meat processing plant.
What a small world.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, we moved to. I was 5 when we moved out of Illinois to western Colorado.
Okay.
So yeah, both my brothers are Cardinals fans, and so I just kind of grew up with that.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I started following the Cardinals.
Great teams.
So yeah, got to watch a number of years ago. It was probably about 6 years ago, or 7 actually. Got to watch a Cardinals-Rockies game in Busch Stadium, right there in St. Louis. That
awesome.
was a blast.
Yes.
And they did win. So the Cardinals won. That's what's important.
Yes. Yes.
So, but yeah, what are some things that you've seen in the shed industry that kind of your biggest changes that you've seen?
Oh man, we try to follow, the trends as best we can. But so when I got in, like maybe 12 years ago, had I known back then some of the areas that I could have got into that would have been just wildly successful, man, hindsight is 2020. I started in purchasing and didn't even really know the side of the business that was like sales and marketing, but I've sort of grown this natural hunger. The podcast is still my absolute most favorite thing to do because I'm a relationship-based seller. And I'm a people person, or try to be. Maybe I'm not everyone's people person, but I try to be as many as I can. And I do love people and their stories. And so sales for me never was really about like learning all the tactics. I've tried those things, classes. I supported all those things, a lot of them. But they're not always. I just don't fit into a good mold. I'm not always. I just don't always fit well into a process. And I'm going to build a relationship somehow. And that's usually through conversation and finding, like-minded people with similar interests and things like that. So because of that, it led me down this natural path to the podcast, but I'm excited about what we've done and expanding into the marketing world. That's become like one of my favorite things, me and Dylan, to hop on calls and talk to people. And what we've really done is taken a long approach at marketing, because what I found in the shed industry is like if you're trying to sell something to people like a service like we are, they might want to understand it. That way they understand what they're purchasing. And I think that's where a lot of people have maybe not failed, but left the door open. Let's say that. We will do a long form discovery call, an hour or two or whatever, and tell them, ask your questions in your broken language so that we can try to explain it in the way that we know how. So that's become very fun for me to learn about all these things that, I could talk about what SEO was, but now learning it and being able to explain it on a different level. And I find my knowledge, Cody, constantly growing in that.
Yeah.
PPC campaigns, and people are like, what's that? And the world's changing in the way that the consumer decides to purchase. So like these digital storefronts are super important to me because you can reach people within 100-mile radius that may never drive by your lot.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me because you're just sort of watching history play out and you're part of it. I mean, Google and Facebook, they're constantly gathering data on us. Why? So that they can market.
Yeah. I mean, that's the name of the game.
So that's become like, I didn't know that was an interesting thing to me until I began to understand it on a different level. And I still have a long, long way to go. But I'm humble in my approach, and that's been kind of exciting. Beyond that, it's probably going to be out there now. I mean, we do some RTO, but finance is going to be a thing that we're jumping into, and I feel like that's going to be a big thing in the industry at some point because as we find banks that can like take the risk on these unsecured loans, I don't know if how much it will affect the shed industry, but I believe, because RTO 1 is so competitive and 2 is a crutch for so much of the industry and the sales in it.
Yep.
I believe that we want, some alternatives to that with things like finance. So I'm kind of paying attention to that right now, and I'm just watching where it goes. I mean, honestly, I'm having a great time having conversations with guys like yourself that I can ask a million questions beforehand, like, "Hey, where should we go? What's a good place to eat? Where should we?"
Well, I got some suggestions there. But,
well, that's good.
Now, what you said about financing, that's a big one. Definitely had a lot of requests for that.
Sure.
A lot of people like the RTO as well. Mm-hmm. But the financing is something, and obviously that provides a little bit different payment plan as far as I think it ends up being a little bit less. But rent to own is a very good option for a lot of people. However, there is other people that want the financing side of it. And let me know where that goes because I'm very interested to follow along with that. And if it's something that you all offer, I'd love to bring that on and bring that as part of our process.
Yeah, love to have a conversation with you, and we're trying to watch that and build analytics to it as much as we can too, to watch how it goes. I think that people like the risk-free nature of it too.
Absolutely.
You know, especially when you think about like the repos and things like that from the rent-own side. And then you get into the danger of, and I know that's not common necessarily,
right.
but you know, it's just that it exists. So yeah, we're watching it, and we hope it goes well. And hey, man, I can't thank you enough for sitting down with me. I've really, really enjoyed this. You're an intelligent fella, and you speak well, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Well,
thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to come on and speak with you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.